If you shower or brush your teeth or try to make your hair look presentable, here's some good news. Dollar Shave Club has a lot of stuff to help you out. Dollar Shave Club delivers everything you need to look, feel, and smell your best. Shampoo, conditioner, body wash, toothpaste, hair gel, even a wipe that leaves your tush feeling tingly clean. All of Dollar Shave Club's products are made with top-shelf ingredients that won't break your budget. You'll feel the difference. Plus, shipping is free with your membership. And here's a great way to try a bunch of Dollar Shave Club's products for just $5. You can get their Daily Essential Starter Set. It comes with Body Cleanser, One Wipe Charlie's, their amazing butt wipes, and their world-famous shave butter. And their best razor, the 6-Blade Executive. Keep the blades coming for a few more bucks a month and add in a shampoo, toothpaste, or anything else you need. Check it all out at dollarshaveclub.com/Chad. That's dollarshaveclub.com/Chad.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Okay, the judge has just sentenced Michael Cohen to 36 months in prison, so 3 years of federal prison time for Michael Cohen. The sentencing is still going underway.
That's not bad.
That's not bad. Of course, you're not doing prison time, so it's not bad. He got 36 months in jail. 36 months, all because of Trump. Whoa. Slow our roll for a second. Does anybody have any idea why he's going to jail? Some of you smarter people out there realize this. A lot of people out there, I talked to 2 people today who think he's going to jail because of Donald Trump. And I make the argument, without Donald Trump, he may be going to jail for a lot longer. Huh? Yeah. He's not going to jail because of hush money campaign BS. He's going to jail because he pled guilty to 8 criminal charges, 5 counts of tax evasion, nothing to do with Trump. 1 of making a false statement to a financial institution, 1 count of willfully causing an unlawful corporation contribution, and 1 count of making an excessive campaign contribution. He's going to jail because he took $4.5 million and didn't report it. He's going to jail because he did things that were wrong. And today he came out as he makes all these statements in the courtroom, right? He gets all emotional. He comes out and he says all these things, and he's trying to go back and forth about Trump and this, that, and the other, and looking at his family.
In an emotional statement to the judge, Michael Cohen apologized to his family and to the American people for lying when he said they deserve to know the truth. His voice caught. He turned toward his parents in the spectator seats to say, "I'm sorry." Cohen also made clear he is no longer a loyal soldier of President Trump's, of whom he said there is little to be admired.
No, little to be admired, little bit this, little bit. He's going to jail. Has nothing to do with Trump other than it shined a light on who this guy was. That's it. And I'll make the argument that while I am no fan of the way that Trump operates, and I think there's some shady stuff going on that's going to be looked in as we move forward, the reality is without knowing Trump, if he would have done this and got caught, he'd be going to jail for a lot longer than 36 months. He just may have some information that reduces some of this, which is still a possibility as well. But he keeps bringing up Trump all along the way as he talks about, this stuff today.
This was mostly about Michael Cohen, and the attorneys kept it focused on him. It was Cohen who then turned to talk about his work and what he called his blind loyalty to President Trump. He said it led him down a dark path, and he said of Trump, there is little to admire.
But none of that has anything other than to do that Mueller was looking at everybody. He happened to be part of that. Shined a light on him, got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. They set up an LLC offshore. He continued to use that. Got popped. Put $4.5 million in there. Didn't report it. They said you did the judge said you had a smorgasbord of stuff. Smorgasbord of stuff. You could talk about Trump. And you could talk about it with that Mueller guy, but we're not in this courtroom today to talk about that. We're in this courtroom because you did something wrong and you got popped for it. You got popped for it. You did something wrong. You can't blame the $4.5 million. Trump didn't say, hey, you know what you should do is take this $4.5 million and hide it. That's what you should do. Can't blame that on him. And while you're doing all of this stuff, the fact is you're hoping that Trump, in many ways, is your get out of jail free card. That's what you're hoping for. You're going to get out of jail free. Now, how long he spends in jail, that is still to be determined.
If Cohen provides further information that could support a case against the president, that could be used in support of his reduction in sentence, even down the line. So he might not serve the full amount that is being given to him today.
He's got about a year or so to continue to cooperate, and he may get a reduction. And speaking of prison, he will be going to prison, but he will be able to spend the holidays with the family.
Michael Cohen is now expected to report to prison on March 6th, 2019, after being sentenced to 3 years plus another 3 years of supervised release.
Yeah. So, look, I don't wish any ill will on this guy. I don't. And he was a small-time kind of attorney. He wasn't making $500 an hour, living the high life. I think his wife had some money, and he had the opportunity to be the fixer for Trump. The fixer for Trump in situations where you can find somebody that's willing to go a little bit deeper, that's willing to do some stuff, that's got some, that has more to do with the morals of a relationship and certain things other than illegality. Meaning paying off somebody to be quiet. Not really illegal, right? You're settling out of court. You're settling with somebody. Go away. You sign the NDA, this kind of things. But it was all about being quiet. It's all about being quiet. And he talked today about he felt incarcerated by Trump.
Michael Cohen once said he would take a bullet for Trump. Today, Cohen said working for Trump kept him in a personal and mental incarceration. Cohen said his own weakness and blind loyalty to Trump led him down a dark path, but he said he is now determined to make sure his story will not be remembered as the villain's story while working for President Trump.
Yeah, he'll still be that way, and he'll still be a footnote on a Wikipedia page as all of this stuff goes forward. But this today was about you. Moving forward with Mueller and all of these other things, and Mueller said today, we believe he's told the truth, about all of this stuff. Moving forward, and that's totally different. And you may have some other things that Mueller has up his sleeve that we don't know about, and that may be true too. But today was not about Trump. Today was about you. Today was about you. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. A lot of people still talking about yesterday's fiery exchange in the White House with the mannequin Mike Pence. Of course, there was the ever popular Trump, Nancy Pelosi, and old Chucky Baby.
Yes. If we don't get what we want, one way or the other, whether it's through you, through a military, through anything you want to call, I will shut down the government.
Okay,
absolutely.
fair enough.
And I am proud, and I'll tell you what, I am proud to shut down the government for border security, Chuck.
Yeah, Chuck. It was kind of just one of those surreal situations. This is what we deserve, though. Right? This is what we deserve. We as a nation deserve reality TV. We get the politics and the politicians we deserve, and we like reality TV right now, and that's what that was yesterday. And then coming out, you've got Pelosi and Schumer and everybody firing back and forth and doing all of those kind of things that you do when you have a chance to instead of maybe take the high road, just say it is what it is, and we move on from there. Nope, you come out and you talk about things like manhoods.
Pelosi told Democrats behind closed doors that getting the president to admit that he will own any shutdown was a big accomplishment. And she had some pretty harsh words for the president, saying his wall is, quote, like a manhood thing with him, as if manhood can be associated with him.
What? Boys and their toys. Trump just tweeted out, $150 billion to Iran from Obama, and I can't get $5 billion for my wall. Well, it was their money. We've just had it since the 70s. Bah, Chad. I got no problem. I keep saying, I just did a live stream that we do part of the show. You can check it out, Chad Benson Show on the old Facebook. I don't know what the wall everybody thinks is going to change everything. I know a lot of people think there's all these things are going to change. Go ahead. Give them $5 billion. We waste so much money now. What's another $5 billion, right? Take a little here, a little there. Give them $5 billion. And that'll be interesting to see. Here's my question to everybody. Got a couple of them. You said that you were going to have Mexico pay for it, and that doesn't look like you're willing to shut the government down for that. And what if it doesn't stop the flow the way that you think, and instead the flow just comes from somewhere else, meaning they get a way around this and or over it, and the drug problem continues, and it doesn't stop that? Then what? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Twitter, a lot of stuff to get to today. Jerome Corsi is going to join us. Yes, Jerome Corsi, the guy that is suing Mueller for $350 million. He's got a new book out, and he's going to talk about what it's like to be in a situation right now where Mueller, much like with Cohen, they're coming down on him and Roger Stone. He's going to talk about what it's like to be in the crosshairs of this investigation right now. He's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Now, at the end of the year, people, we get these lists, all right? So we get all these lists at the end of the year. And now we've got the list of the best quotes of the year, all right? So these are the best quotes of the year. I like these. This is the Yale Book of Quotations. First came out in 2006. Here's a few of them. Truth isn't truth. Who said that? Rudy Giuliani. We all remember this great one. I like beer. Still like beer. Brett Kavanaugh. Oh, Brett. Oh, this one. I am not smart, but genius. A very stable genius at that. Who could have said something like that? If you're thinking Kanye, you're wrong. Kanye's pal. Yours and mine. President Donald Trump. And this is one I really, really think is a great one. And it's by James Comey. And I know a lot of people are like, James Comey. Our country is led by those who will be willing to lie about anything, backed by those who will believe anything based on information from media sources that will say anything. I think there's some truth in some of those things. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. It's that time of year. You should be giving something to the person you love, family, things of that nature. 1-800-Flowers has it for you big time. Are you ready for this? Holiday flower tree. Boom. It's incredible. It's amazing. You're going to love it. It's going to brighten up the home. Oh, it's just incredible. It really is amazing. Hand designed, fragrant, greenery roses, mini carnations, a little bow right there on the top. Boom. Truly one of a kind gift. It's available right now. 20% off this amazing deal. Grab it, run with it, love it. All you have to do is go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click on the radio icon, enter code Benson. It's 1-800-Flowers.com, code Benson. It is beautiful. It's just going to brighten up everything, especially this holiday season. 1-800-Flowers does it right. 1-800-Flowers.com. Click on the radio icon, enter code Benson. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. ChadBenson. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Warning, no snowflake zone. Uninformed opinions are in danger of melting. The Chad Benson Show.
Comedy is the cartilage of the Senate, the soft connective tissue that cushions impact between opposing joints. But in recent years, that cartilage has been ground to a nub.
Comedy. Orrin Hatch there today talking out. I found it was funny. And listen to what he says about all of this stuff. Because I asked him yesterday, and he got a lot of flack for it. So what do you think about all this stuff with Russia? He's like, I just don't care anymore. And he's saying some stuff here that makes me laugh. I think it's funny. Listen to this.
On both the left and the right, the bar of decency has been set so low that jumping over it is no longer the objective. Limbo is the new name of the game. How low can you go?
Doom, boom, biggity, biggity, wang, wing, whoop, 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 whoop. I think he's absolutely right. It's what we've been talking about. You're no longer trying to better the other side with ideas that you think will make America better, with ideas that you think will make the average person better. Now what you're trying to do is go, I hope you fail. I'm going to point out all your flaws, and we're going to sit back here, and instead of working with you, we're going to hope. The other side doesn't want the other side to do well. People say, Chad, well, what if? Look, if a Democrat came in the White House and kicks ass, I don't care. Is it good for America? Is it good for the people? That's great. Do I want a Republican in the White House? Because that's, well, you should have. I want a Republican in the White House. I have a lot of conservative ideas. I have some liberal ideas. I just want the best person for the job that does the right thing, and above all else, does it for you and I, and not the party. And to me, I don't know if we have that anymore. Now I think all we have is a bunch of people that hope the other side fail, and we have seen a turning of this country in a way that I don't like, especially when we deal with one another in political matters. Other things we're okay, but in political matters, it's not good.
My heart is heavy because it aches for the times when we actually lived up to our reputation as the world's greatest deliberative body.
Yep, I agree. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. I've got a great poll question for you. We're going to talk about that. What do you hear California is trying to do? It is a doozy, and it only starts there. And where it heads, woo, you never know. But each and every day, kids, as we do, we deliver something to you, much like Santa does in his little sleigh with all of his elves. We call this our urban word of the day.
It's time for the urban word of the day, fam.
What? Right now?
Time to get a little more hip on the streets.
I can't understand a word you're saying.
Urban word of the day.
Oh, this one's good. Done for. Man, I'm done for. What that means is somebody's in trouble. Something's going to happen, and you're in trouble. You're done for. Oh, yeah, I've heard that before. Yeah, that's big time. Oh, man, that guy's done for. So when you hear that, it says weird. That's weird. Like, what? Done for? You got to read into it. But done for. It's what the kids are saying. It's an old style one that the kids are bringing back. Old school. Done for is your urban word of the day.
Thank you for saying that in dated urban slang so that I'll understand you. That there was the urban word of the day. We damn stretched your cranium.
All right. I got it. Urban word, boom, check. I've got now a poll question for you. And this poll question is amazing. It really is. Because vitamin water is doing something for you guys. And maybe me too. They're offering us an opportunity at something huge, massive, huge, massive, huge, huge, massive. The question is, are you ready for it? If you are, don't go anywhere. Straight ahead, Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
You probably think your cell phone bill is high enough. Now imagine a tax on every text you send. California's Public Utilities Commission will vote on a proposed surcharge on text messages next month. Carl Cordino, head of the Silicon Valley Leadership Group, is not happy.
This is the Grinch that is stealing Christmas by stealing the text for taxes on your phones.
How it would work isn't totally clear, but the PUC says the money would go toward a program that pays for phone service for the poor.
Oh, that's great. So wait a minute. You want to tax people on text messages. It's confusing. I get it. Because you want to make sure that poor people have cell phones. So, which most of them do. 'Cause 'Most 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 of them do. 'Cause you want more revenue. And what's scary about this is it will spread out. Other states will go, well, can we get away with that? Because if they're doing it, we want to do it because we want money, because we got stuff too. We would love money. We would love it. Now, here's the thing. Not only are they threatening to do that, and they're going to vote on it next month, not only are they doing that, get ready for this, kids. Hold on to your hats and glasses, because this here's the wildest crap in the wilderness. They may make it retroactive 5 years. And this is a state that just had a bunch of money stolen from them by the people who run the state when it came to gas tax to fix. And you would go, and why wouldn't they do it to you? Why wouldn't they? But my fear is it's going to branch out, because that's what happened. There's always a state like, okay, so if you buy a saltwater fish tank, right? So you go out and you spend a bunch of money and you get a saltwater fish tank, and you try to get everything just balanced correctly with the salt water and the water. Then what do? Do you go out and run and you buy a really expensive fish? No. You buy little tester fish and you put them in there and you see if everything's okay and it's balanced and they can live. Then you buy expensive stuff. What happens is states try these things. Massachusetts, a.k.a. Taxachusetts, the People's Republic of California, they try something like this, and then other states go, ooh. Because it's always about finding new what? Revenue streams. Revenue streams. Like they're a business, but you're not. Right? You're supposed to be public servants. You take taxes, but it's about being, wait, I got an idea. Why don't we tax people for their text messages? Now, the carriers are pissed on top of all of this, right? So your Verizons and all of these, your T-Mobile and everything. And the reason they're upset is because they're going to get hit with these taxes and people aren't going to use their text messaging services. They're going to go to Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, whatever else is out there, Textra, and all these other ones, so they can avoid these kind of things. And then all of a sudden, what are you not doing? You're not using your phone as much. It is absolutely insane. But this is what happens when you start to run out of ways to get money from the people in the quote-unquote the old-fashioned way. You do stuff like this. And once it starts one place, you watch what happens. It starts to spread out. Oh, Oklahoma, Indiana. Can we get away with that? Is that possible? It'll be great it'll be great. No. It'll help people. I mean, already, how many of us out there? You go, and having lived in both California and Arizona in the last year, back and forth, my son down there, I come back, I come forth, I come back and forth, and I be out there this weekend. But I tell you what, you go look at like a receipt of something. Like I took a battery, I had to get a battery replaced last year. So I get the battery replaced, and I look at all of the things that I'm being charged for on top of the battery. The disposal of the battery, which they didn't dispose of, and the disposal of the battery, which I've just bought, which I'm not disposing of anytime soon. Fees. Look on your cell phone bill. Look how many fees are on there. Why not add a few more? Because it's one of those things where if you don't hear about it and you're already frustrated with it and you're like, ugh. So be prepared, because it will fan itself out. That's what it does. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Now, I promised you that I would tell you what Vitamin Water is doing. So Vitamin Water is for those of you guys who don't know, they're going to give you a chance to win $100,000. Think about this, $100,000 for no phone. 100 G's, no phone, Vitamin Water. This is what you have to do. So, you have to be willing to give up your smartphone for a year. All right? You've got to January 8th at 11:59 to go on and apply for this on Instagram and Twitter and a few other places. Then they're going to pick somebody, I think January 23rd. What you're going to get is a Nokia phone, an old one, where you can still make phone calls and still text message, but you cannot touch anybody else's phone. You cannot use a smartphone. You cannot use a tablet. If you have a computer, you can use that. If you have a laptop, you can use that. You can still text and call because they're not insane. But you got to give up your smartphone for a year. And then after a year, they will then say, okay, let's take a lie detector test to find out if you've used a smartphone. If you haven't, you get $100,000. If you have, I could do it. I could absolutely do it. I could totally do it. Yes. That's the question of the day. Could you give up your smartphone for 100 G's for a year? Now, after 6 months, if you go 6 months, you're guaranteed $10,000, apparently. If you go 6 months, you're guaranteed $10,000. If you go a year, you'll get $100,000. But you got to take a lie detector test. So far, 69% of you say yes, you could. 28% says no way, I could. 3% says maybe 6 months. 0% say I don't have a smartphone. And the whole thought process now is what? We're all thinking, well, maybe we should dumb ourselves down, go for the dumb phone. But they're not really dumb phones. And that's what we used to have. But I think my generation, the Gen Xers, I think we could do it easier than anybody else. Because I look at my son. My son's never, he doesn't even know, he's never been on a computer, right? He's only ever had a tablet. In fact, he works on a tablet all the time. That's all they ever have. Kids, they don't even get that. Laptop, maybe. But if you could still use a laptop and you could still use a computer, then that should be easy. That should be absolutely easy. Could you do it? 323-538-CHAD. 323-538-2423. Text me your answer. You can also tweet at us at Chad Benson Show. Ted Lieu, congressman from California, was in the Hill hearings yesterday talking to the CEO of Google, and he's got 5 minutes and he's Googling, some of the Republicans on there saying, look, you guys are here. They're not suppressing anything. You could see that, once you search for something, they're not suppressing it. He's trying to prove a point. But then he said something that is interesting. I'm going to give you both sides of the argument, but it does show you the way that certain people feel. It does show you this.
I would love to be able to regulate the content of speech. The First Amendment prevents me from doing so.
What? Let's listen to that again.
I would love to be able to regulate the content of speech. The First Amendment prevents me from doing so.
That is Ted Lieu, Congressman, Democrat, California. Now, again, he's in there. He's talking to the CEO, Sundar Pichai from Google. I hope I didn't mess up his name. If I did, I apologize for that. It has nothing to do with cultural appropriation or anything like that. I'm just not really great with names. But he's honest. I would love to. But that pesky First Amendment shows up and you're like, pesky amendment. He did go on to somewhat clarify himself here.
And that's simply a function of the First Amendment. But I think over the long run, it's better that government does not regulate the content of speech. I would urge these private sector companies to regulate it better themselves, but it's really nothing that I believe government can do. And so that's been my position all along.
Now, that's what I said. Well, that's what I said. Well, hold on a second. When I listen to you there, what you're saying is, well, I can't do that because everybody would be mad at me and it's all about the First Amendment. But I would really love it if these companies do it. I would love it if they take a more proactive thing. Because if government gets involved, people are going to freak out because it's all their amendments and crap like that. But if you get involved, if you go and you start snatching away some of their rights, that's okay because it's your business. And you could say, it's my business. I can do what I want with it. Isn't that weird? I mean, again, when I heard it, I'm like, there's no way. Because you see these headlines. I don't always buy any of these headlines. But I know Ted Lieu. I know exactly what he's all about. I understand that there is this world now where we want to protect everybody. I mean, if you're going to go up to Toronto now, to London School up there to do a comedy thing, you have to sign like this contract of trigger warnings, things. I mean, this is the world we're living in now where it's all about feelings over facts. It's a bunch of baloney and crap. And you think to yourself, it really can't get any worse. But then you hear somebody who is a person who represents constituents, American citizens, in our hallowed house, the house there. He's in there. He's representing them. Sworn to what? To uphold and protect the Constitution, and he says,
I would love to be able to regulate the content of speech. The First Amendment prevents me from doing so.
Yeah. Wow. That is amazing. You said everything I need to say. And even when you tried to spin it another way, it was more like, well, I think that government shouldn't get involved. He didn't think, look, we got a First Amendment for a reason. This is what it is. It's more like, I would love to do that. I can't, and we don't really want to get involved and get government involved because then it gets messy and nasty. So if there's any way that we could get these companies to push forward on this, that'd be fantastic. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. Love hearing from you. Could you go a year without your smartphone? Vitamin Water is challenging somebody to give up their smartphone for a year. Could you do it for 1 year? Get $100,000 at the end of the year if you're chosen. What say you? 323-538-CHAD. At Chad Benson Show, Twitter. Take the poll there. AMAC is incredible. Benefits, so many benefits. Travel benefits, plenty of those. They got retail, restaurant, hotel benefits. They got benefits like helping you navigate through things like signing up for Medicare. They got a lot of benefits, kids. And on top of that, politically, they're going to go out and advocate on your behalf for things like Social Security reform, immigration reform, things that you think, hey, this country's not been handled the right way. Too many other people are out there advocating for certain things that I don't agree with. AMAC is out there advocating on your behalf. And check this out. A year free. It's on me. Go to amac.us/Chad. You want retail, restaurant, hotel discounts? Check. You want discounts to Disneyland, Disney World, SeaWorld, Legoland? Check, check, check. If you want discounts up to 40% off movie tickets, check. AMAC has them for you. What are you waiting for? It doesn't even cost you a penny. It's a year free. They don't even want your credit card. Go to amac.us/Chad. That's amac.us/Chad. amac.us/Chad. AMAC is better for you, better for America. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. ChadBenson. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Got that sniffling, sneezing, stuffy head thing going on? Time for your daily dose of Vitamin Chad.
Cohen wept at least twice during these proceedings, clearly overcome with emotions. He was pretty silent, somber as the judge read the sentence from what we're being told by our colleagues inside the courtroom.
Yeah. But he got 3 years and not 70, which was his potential, which he was never going to get 70. He was never going to get 70 years. I talked to a couple of my buddies who are attorneys, and they said, look, he was probably looking realistically at 5 to 10. They'd have probably put, if they were going to say smart money, would have been 8 years. So he didn't get that. His cooperation was duly noted. This had, I just saw like CNN had a just ingenuous like headline on, and the headline on there was, Cohen going to jail over Russia probe. No, he's going to jail because he committed crimes. And I don't know how many times I tell me, you committed a crime, and the crime had zero. You got found out because they were looking for stuff on Trump and Russia. But the crime that you committed, much like Manafort, had zero to do with Trump and Russia, and all do with the fact that you took $4.5 million, you put it into a offshore account, you never reported the income, and you lied on financials when it came to that. That's what you got in trouble for. That was today. That one was today. Anything else that comes out of this, hey, you've cooperated. But that right there was all about you. And the judge kept saying that over and over again. It's all about you. You could talk about this. You could talk about that. You could talk. But nope. This is all about the things that you did here. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Love hearing from you. Asked the question earlier. We're going to be asking it through the evening. Could you give up your smartphone for a year? And you can't look at anybody else's smartphone. You can't use a tablet. You can't use an iPad. You can use a laptop or a desktop, and you could use a dumb phone because they don't want you to not have a phone, and and they're going to give you a Nokia 3313 or something like that. And this is Vitamin Water, who is challenging somebody, whoever's going to take the challenge, to a years without a smartphone. And we know how much we're attached to this thing. We're totally attached to our phones. We are. I use mine for business, and somebody texted me a while ago, goes, look, I'll be honest with you, I'm on my phone 4 to 5 hours a day. And in fact, I believe it's the new iPhone. There is something on there where you can see how much you're on there. And, one of the people that I work with, she's like, the first 4 or 5 days, I was like, ooh, I wonder how much I'm on there. And she goes, every time I would say I'm on there for maybe 2 hours, she's like 7 hours and 8 minutes, 5. She goes, I've taken it so I can't look at that thing anymore because it's so insane. But could you do it? Some people, I think, could do it easily. And I think an older generation, like 25, maybe 30 and under, would struggle with far more than somebody like myself. And even though I use my phone all day for work, the reality is I like texting, so you could still text with a cheap phone, and I've got a laptop because I'm okay with that. I don't need everything to be super high technology for this stuff. So I don't know. Could you? It's an interesting thing. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Christmas is not too far away, and people, go buy those trees.
When Americans stopped drinking as much milk, the milk industry fought back.
Got milk.
Just like cattle farmers did when beef appetites diminished.
Beef. It's what's for dinner.
Now the nation's farmers of Christmas trees say their sales are drying up.
Do you like this one?
So they've launched an ad campaign on Facebook and Instagram urging millennial parents to keep it real by cutting down living trees for Christmas.
It smells like Christmas cheer.
It's estimated 80% of Christmas homes now have fake trees, and sales of those artificial evergreens are growing.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? You know who invented fake trees? Toilet bowl cleaners, those brushes. A company came up with a fake tree. I've got both in the house. And I'm okay with it. I like a real tree. I do. But I have both in the house. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Do love hearing from you. Take the poll question. Could you give up your smartphone for a year for $100,000? Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Okay, the judge has just sentenced Michael Cohen to 36 months in prison, so 3 years of federal prison time for Michael Cohen. The sentencing is still going underway.
That's not bad. It's not bad. Well, if you're not going to prison, you could say it's not bad. But what he faced potentially was a bit of time in the pokey. He did. He faced up to 70 years. He was never going to see 70 years. But he faced a bit, and the judge was very honest about this whole situation today. He was Trump's fixer, but for all of that stuff that he was, and that may or may not get Trump in trouble somewhere down the line, for all of those things, today had nothing to do with that other than the reason they were looking at him was because of Trump. But the reality was, he did wrong. He did.
There was no mistaking that the judge thought he was guilty of significant crime. He said that Michael Cohen had lost his moral compass. Cohen might have said it was because he was blindly loyal to Donald Trump, as he put it in his statement to the judge. But the judge kept the focus solely on him and his crimes, and he said there must be a significant punishment.
Yeah. And he got 3 years. He got 3 years. That's what he is looking at. He'll have 3 years supervised probation after that. He's got to pay a fine. And this had nothing to do with Russia other than the reason they were there is because they were looking for links with the Trump campaign and Russia. And while turning over all of the stones, not Roger yet, they found out that this guy, who had set up a shell corporation, paid off a couple ladies, and then kept the shell corporation, funneled money into there. So you had tax evasion, you had falsifying financial documents, and that's what this was about today. And I'll say this, while he goes on and he talks about Trump and he goes out there and, he talks about how he was just, it was all Trump's fault. It's all Trump's fault. He's destroyed me.
Michael Cohen once said he would take a bullet for Trump. Today, Cohen said working for Trump kept him in a personal and mental incarceration. Cohen said his own weakness and blind loyalty to Trump led him down a dark path, but he said he is now determined to make sure his story will not be remembered as the villain story while working for President Trump.
Yeah, but this had nothing to do with that. You were not making a ton of money. I think your wife had a bit of money. You did the dirty work for a guy. And in doing the dirty work for the guy, you got a bunch of money. And along the way, you became, as the judge says, you became greedy. And that's why you're here. And I can make the argument that were it not for Trump, you'd probably be going to jail for a lot longer. But because of this and the help that you provided, even though they, quote unquote, didn't take that into consideration today, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, the reality is they did in some ways take that into consideration, and there's still a chance that somewhere down the line it may even become lesser of a sentence.
If Cohen provides further information that could support a case against the president, that could be used in support of his reduction in sentence even down the line. So he might not serve the full amount that is being given to him today.
He might not. He probably won't. He'll probably be in jail for 16 months, 18 months. And also, when you look at the fact that he's not even going to be going to jail for a bit, in fact, he'll get to spend a little time with the family over the holidays.
Michael Cohen is now expected to report to prison on March 6th, 2019, after being sentenced to 3 years plus another 3 years of supervised release.
Yeah. So, judging by that, and then we've got Jerome Corsi. Dr. Corsi is going to come on the bottom of the hour, talk about all of the stuff that he's going through, the lawsuit with Mueller and all of this stuff. I don't think the Mueller investigation is going away anytime soon. And I wouldn't be surprised if March or April of next year, they're still working on this thing. Because if you're still going to be working with this guy and the others that you haven't even brought in yet, really, you've talked to them, you've discussed some stuff, but you haven't brought everybody in just yet. Yeah, I still think this thing could be going forward a little bit longer. But he's going to jail today because of the things that he did that had nothing to do with Trump. Nothing. Nothing to do with Trump. That was on him. And you can bring up Trump all you want, and he did today.
This was mostly about Michael Cohen, and the attorneys kept it focused on him. It was Cohen who then turned to talk about his work and what he called his blind loyalty to President Trump. He said it led him down a dark path, and he said of Trump, there is little to admire.
Well, that might be true, but you became the greed monster. You wanted this. You took the money. You lied about it. That's on you. That's on you. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Do love hearing from you. We've got a question of the day, and many of you are texting in about it. And the question is on Twitter. Vitamin Water is giving somebody the opportunity to win $100,000 if they can go a year without a smartphone. So it's 1 year. It'll start in late January, early February. They're going to take submissions on Twitter and Instagram. If you can give up your smartphone and your tablets and your iPads. Now, you could still watch TV. If you've got a PC or a laptop, you can use that, and they will supply you with a phone that can make phone calls, that can text message, but that's all it can do. It cannot do anything else. Could you do it for $100,000? Could you do it? And you know what I'm surprised about? How many people are saying, yeah, no, I couldn't do it. Maybe a month, but not that long. Not that long. I'm like, really? Now, I could do it for $100,000. Right? I could. I mean, we talked about that guy in Vegas, and that is, the bet's over. He was going to stay in a dark room for a month. It was 2 poker players. And for the month in a dark room where all he gets, it's like a little room and there's a bathroom, so he can go back and forth to the bathroom in the room, but he's got to stay in there, can't have contact with the outside world, minus the fact that he can order food and they'll bring him food. But the room is pitch black for $100,000 for a month. And that bet actually paid off. The guy said, after 20 days, why don't you come out of there? You win. I'll give you $62,000. So he did. But this is a year without a smartphone. For me, it's a no-brainer. It's not that hard. I don't think it's that hard. It's a smartphone that I've been without before. I knew a world without smartphone. I knew a world without phone, where phone was at home. So I could do that. A millennial generation, though, I've got several of them I've asked that are working here as interns and stuff. They're like, nope, couldn't do it. Because they don't use a PC. They don't use a laptop. They use tablets and they use their phones. And that's how they live their life. So an older generation absolutely could. Could you? Text the program 323-538-2423. 69% of you say yep. 28% say no way. 3% say maybe 6 months. Maybe. Somebody just texts in and says, I've never had a smartphone. Do I win? No. The whole point is to try to break your addiction. That's the whole point. Try to break the addiction of the smartphone. Vitamin Water, putting their money where their mouth is. So after a year, if you do this after a year, you then have to go and have a lie detector test to make sure that you have not cheated and used somebody else's smartphone. And then you get the money. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. McDonald's is not going to be using antibiotics anymore in any of their meat. Sometimes I wonder what's in that stuff. I do. I mean, it's quick and you go and stuff and it's easy and that's what it's all about. And we live in a world of immediacy. We want it, boom. But man, it's like, hey, we're no longer going to be using lead. Some more cadmium in this. You're like, huh? Crazy. Guess what? Butcher Box, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Amazing. Amazing. Right to your front door, a month's worth of meat, less than $6 a meal. You're going to love it. Incredible. Grass-fed, grass-finished, humanely raised, no hormones, no antibiotics ever. Like their pork. Raised in a way and sourced in a way that it keeps its fat, it keeps its flavor the way it's supposed to be. Chicken's free roam, just cruising around, organic. And again, cuts the best. You're not going to find this anywhere else. Less than $6 a meal, a month's worth delivered right to your door. Here's what they're doing for my listeners. $20 off the first month, $20 off the second month, and they're throwing in bacon. And bacon seals all the deals. Bacon when you order. How do you get it? Simple and easy. Go to butcherbox.com/Chad. 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 Simple and easy. $40 off, $20 off the first, $20 off the second. Bacon thrown in. It's a no-brainer, kids. Butcherbox.com/Chad. At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, ChadBenson. Dr. Jerome Corsi is going to join us at the bottom of the hour. We're going to talk about Mueller, the investigation, what his life is, what his family's life is as he goes through all of this, because he is in the crosshairs. And Mueller did offer him a deal, and he said, no deal. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Being antisocial sucks. Hang with Chad's friends on Facebook, The Chad Benson Show. And if you just need some alone time, head on over to Twitter at Chad Benson Show. Either way, we can't wait to meet the real you.
So yesterday, Obviously, the big news, because there's always drama surrounding Trump and everybody else in politics because nobody seems to be able to act normal. So yesterday, it was supposed to be just a quick picture. Hey, here we are, the leaders, of the Democratic Party. Nancy Pelosi can probably become the Speaker of the House. You got Chuck Schumer over there in the Senate. Even though he's not the leader of the Senate, he still is, a bigwig in the Democrats. These guys that is really the voice in the face on the Senate side, and Nancy's the voice in the face on the House side. So there they are. You got Mike Pence, or, elf on the shelf. God, Pence was wow. And then, of course, you had Trump. And what was supposed to be just a picture turned into a somewhat shouting match, heated discussion.
Yes. If we don't get what we want, one way or the other, whether it's through you, through a military, through anything you want to call, I will shut down the government.
Okay,
absolutely.
fair enough.
And I am proud, and I'll tell you what, I am proud to shut down the government for border security, Chuck.
So he's proud, Chuck. So you go and you watch the whole thing, and then you go, okay, what did it mean? What were they really saying? Because you've got words, but inside of the words, you've got bodies, and those bodies will tell you certain things.
It's a remarkable scene. First of all, the body language is something else. Chuck Schumer is sitting there on the couch trying to avoid looking at the president, who is sitting right next to him about 1.5 feet away. Pelosi is also kind of looking straight ahead at Schumer, and you have the silent vice president while the president is going on talking about his wonderful border wall and insisting it must be built.
Body language. And Chuck didn't. He didn't want to look up. They felt uncomfortable. They did. Now, and part of that is because they like to go out and, like a lot of these men and women in politics, they don't like to debate because they don't like the argument. They don't like somebody, and Trump, his personality at times overwhelms, even though a lot of times his numbers underwhelm and are not real. But that's politics. Whose numbers are real? They all tell you something, and in the end, when you look it up and when all is said and done, rarely does it ever add up the way they say. They like the fact that they can go out there and they can say things with very little repercussions and nobody pushing back, and that's one of the reasons I think people really like Trump. The people that do support Trump love him because yesterday he spoke to them in a way that you could tell they were not used to hearing words like that right in their face. They were not used to that. They weren't. They like to go out and they like to say certain things and then have nobody really challenge anybody on those things. And Trump yesterday was just out there doing it, right? I don't agree with the way that he acts a lot of times. It frustrates me. But the reality of yesterday was it did happen. And you know what you're going to get with this guy. You do. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. I think for a lot of people, they look at him as somewhat of an extension of the things that they would like to say to some of these people. And they're angry. And he's their voice of anger. And I think that's why they like him. They do. They screw the wealth inequity. They feel like they've got no power and that government does nothing for them. And he is getting back at them for all the people who feel like they've got nothing. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, Twitter. So question of the day, and people are texting in, and I want to hear from you. You can text the program 323-538-CHAD. That is the text line, 323-538-2423. You can tweet at me at Chad Benson Show. Vitamin Water is offering $100,000 to anybody who can ditch their smartphone for a year, not touch anybody else's smartphone, not look at anybody else's smartphone, not have any contact with smartphone or a tablet. You will get a Nokia, like dumb phone as they would call it, just a simple phone that can text and that can make phone calls, but that's it. And they'll pay you $100,000. But after a year, once it's over, you have got to submit to a lie detector test to make sure that you didn't do anything with a smartphone, that you didn't date a smartphone. My question is, can you take pictures with this phone, right? Can you, because God knows, that's the time when you don't have your smartphone, when the aliens land and you don't have a you're like, oh, man. they're like, we knew you were the one. That's why we came to visit you, because you can't take a picture of us. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Dr. Jerome Corsi, also one of the people that is being highlighted by the Mueller investigations, already been offered a plea deal. He's going to tell us why he didn't take it and what's left for him moving forward. It's the Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
I rejected this plea deal on moral grounds. I'm not going to go in front of a prosecutor swearing to God, the Bible, that I committed a crime I did not commit.
That right there, Dr. Jerome Corsi. He's joining us now as the author of Silent No More, How I Became a Political Prisoner of the Mueller Witch Hunt. Appreciate you coming on today, Doc. And it's very interesting. You know, as I watched a lot of interviews with you, everybody always, first thing they always say is you're a conspiracy theorist, as if some of this stuff's not even going on and it's all imaginary. How are you taking things? Because it seems to be that they're putting the heat on pretty strong.
Well, I mean, I'm taking a moral stand, Chad, and you know, I've written 20 books since 2004. 7 of them were New York Times bestsellers. 2 were number 1. And clearly the special prosecutor, and they expressed this to me during 20 hours, 6 sessions, over 2 months, of these grueling interviews with the FBI and the department and this special counselor. They they don't like my politics. I mean, I've got my story, which I tell in this new book, Silent No More, and it's going to be an ebook. It should be out today or tomorrow as an ebook. I want people to be able to read it. I'll give you a first-hand experience. I wrote it first person, what it's like to sit next to me and go through this grilling. I mean, it's really like the Gestapo. They blew it up and said they're going to, put me in prison for the rest of my life. I did not lie to them. It's basically a memory. I can't remember my exact phone calls and emails from 2016. And when they didn't get what they wanted, after all these hours, they wanted me to have a connection to Julian Assange that I could tie to Roger Stone. So it would be Roger Stone, Jerry Corsi of all people, and then Julian Assange, and then Roger Stone, Steve Bannon, and President Trump. That was their collusion argument. Except I don't know Julian Assange. I've never met him. I've never communicated with him. And I don't have any intermediary who has. And special prosecutor wouldn't believe this, so they blew it all up. And, I've never committed a crime in my life. I don't have a parking ticket on my record. I've had no problems with the law until I met Mueller. And this political witch hunt is being conducted in a criminal fashion. And I would not sign a fraudulent plea because I did not knowingly and willfully give false information to the special prosecutor and the FBI with the intent to deceive them. That never happened.
It's very interesting as we're talking to Dr. Jerome Corsi. Silent No More is his new book, How I Became a Political Prisoner of Mueller's Witch Hunt. I don't think people understand this. Your life is just thrown upside down. And on top of all of that, so is your family's life. I mean, you talked about throughout this, what's going on with your family. Was it your stepson? All of these things, every associate you've ever known is all of a sudden brought into this kind of thing. And it seems to be, this is where, when a lot of people talk about, special counsel should have a lane that they stay in, but when you don't give them a lane, they'll go to every lane.
Well, I mean, it's is Dad going to be in prison on Christmas Day? I can't say no. I could be. Could be arrested on Christmas Day. The FBI came to see my stepson. He's 43 years old, lives in his own home. Said they thought he was my IT guy, which is ridiculous. I mean, Andrew's helped me a couple times with computers that were broken, but he's not my IT guy. I do my own IT work, and I'm not particularly good at it. But at any rate, this is look, I went in to cooperate with the special prosecutor. I gave them my laptops. I had an Apple Time Machine, which archives your computer 4 times a month, every month. So it was a permanent record of everything in my computer. Even if I deleted things, which I did to make this broken down 17-inch laptop, I was trying to keep going, keep it working. It had 60,000 emails in it from 2016. And the whole process is really rigged. I mean, they're sitting there with an 8-inch binder with everything in my life, and they won't show it to you. And then they start asking you questions. And if you say something, they say, well, how about this email from 2 years ago? So I don't remember that email. I didn't ask for a plea bargain. They gave me the plea bargain to get me off the media. And when I looked at it, it was so fraudulent because they wanted me to plead guilty to a statement I made the first day where I said I didn't want to send anybody to see Assange, and I had not looked at my 2016 emails. I couldn't download them at that point. And there was one email I sent from Roger Stone to Ted Malloch in London saying, go see Assange. I just passed it on to Ted. It took me about 20 seconds. I didn't remember the email. They allowed me to amend that testimony. And now they want me to plead guilty to the unamended testimony. That's completely fraudulent. These guys are criminal. Only criminals would give you a plea deal like this.
You look at this, Doctor. As talking to Dr. Jerome Corsi, who is, of course, one of the people in the crosshairs by the sounds of it, of the Mueller investigation, the witch hunt, as you call it in your new book. You look at all of this, and everybody on the outside says this just feels so political, and it's all about who can we capture that will give up the president, because in the end, that's what this is all about. It's not about your guilt or Roger Stone's guilt or anybody else's guilt. It seems to be, do you have the magic key to get to that castle and take that guy out?
Well, that's right. I mean, special prosecutor told me I did nothing wrong. They just wanted my testimony. And they wanted me to connect Stone to Assange. They thought, in July and August, I became convinced, I think I figured it out, that Assange, July and August 2016, had Podesta emails that he was going to drop in October. It was a matter of deduction on my part. But they won't believe that. This is where they blew it up, walk out of the room, call me all kinds of names, give me lectures, put me through memory exercises. I mean, it was a horror show. And this book details that horror, so you can see. I want the American people. I wrote this book so hopefully nobody else has to ever experience this again in America, because this is not justice. The plea deal, which I didn't want, which they offered to me to shut me up, we were going to plead guilty to a federal judge that I committed this crime, which I did not do, willfully giving them false information, which never happened. Now I'm a criminal. They said, we won't sentence you for a year, and then that year you can't say anything. Well, that means I can't work. And also I have securities and insurance licenses. One of the prosecutors said, well, because it's secret, you don't have to report it to the regulators. Well, that's not what the laws say. So they're asking me to break the law and swear to God a lie, a crime I didn't commit. I won't do it. I'd rather go to prison for the rest of my life.
The book's called Silent No More, How I Became a Political Prisoner of Mueller's Witch Hunt. And as we talked to Dr. Jerome Corsi, you get a lot of people out there, though, on the other side saying, you knew a lot more. Obviously, these are games you're playing. You're guilty of something, even though they can't really point at what you're guilty at. And you've got the media coming out there saying things like you're a conspiracy theorist and all of these kind of things. How do you take that in this day and age? Because I'm one of these people where I look at everything and I take it with face value and I kind of go with it. But, you sit here, you're a human being. I watch you on TV. You're a human being. You got kids, you got a life. And sometimes I think people get caught up in some stuff. And next thing you know, you're being used potentially as a scapegoat, and bait. You are bait for a lot of these people. How do you take it as a human being when you hear those kind of things?
Well, my crime is that I supported Donald Trump. That's it. And my family, it's a horror show with the family. FBI coming in talking to my 43-year-old stepson who lives in his own home. It's ridiculous. And, is Dad going to be in prison on Christmas? My wife finally said she'd rather support me and see me in prison than have me, wreck my integrity here. I'm a strong Christian. Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. We're only here for a short period of time. I'm not going to, for Mueller, lie and swear on a Bible in front of a federal judge to a crime I didn't commit, in a plea that will bankrupt me where I can't say anything about it, even to fulfill my obligations to regulators. I'm not a felon, and I'll fight this to my death. If I have to die in prison, so be it. This is not justice. These people have unlimited power. They have unlimited. That's why I filed a federal lawsuit against them. I filed criminal complaints with the Department of Justice and a $350 million lawsuit because I've got proof that they leaked. I've got emails that show that they were meeting with reporters to leak information, I believe, on my case from the grand jury. And I think that's a crime. I mean, they're the ones committing crimes. I want to find out how much electronic surveillance I'm under. I turned over my phone records from Verizon, but those phone records were basically the calls that I made. They were not the content. They seemed to know the content of my phone calls. I mean, this was outrageous. I mean, I think there's a complete violation of my rights as an American citizen, and this is out of control. My case, if you read the book Silent No More, they don't want me writing this book. They're still angry. They're furious with me that I've written this book. They don't want American people reading this book. Silent No More is a day-by-day explanation of just how vicious this special counsel is and how it ought to be put to an end right now. They have nothing. They couldn't get me to say what they wanted me to say because it isn't true. I did not have any contact with Assange.
Talking to Dr. Jerome Corsi, the book's called Silent No More, How I Became a Political Prisoner of Mueller's Witch Hunt. How long do you think this thing goes on for? And in the end, people talk, they throw the word out, pardoned. Do you think you'll be vindicated not only in a court of law, but in the court of public opinion? Or are we just at this point in this country, Doctor, where we're just so completely fractured and tribal that you're never going to get back your reputation or any of these things, and that you're just going to be labeled in, as I say, as a footnote in a Wikipedia page for years going on?
Well, I made a moral decision. I'm not calculating. I'm not asking for pardon. I'll go to trial, and if it's a rigged trial with a rigged jury, I'll be convicted, and then I'll go to prison. But I'm going to have my integrity intact. That's all I care about at this point. I'll let my reputation. I've written, to find you to name any other nonfiction writer who's had as much success as I have, and they're mad at me for writing with John O'Neill Unfit for Command against John Kerry. These prosecutors hate my books against Obama. These are hardcore Democratic partisans, these prosecutors, and they come in with a political agenda. Now, they have nothing. They're getting ready to indict Roger Stone, and they met me. I can't give them the link between Stone and Assange. That's when they turned on me. That's when they blew it all up. When you read this book, you're going to see how vicious they were. They ridiculed my religion. They ridiculed my writing. They ridiculed me. I mean, it was angry faces, yelling at you, lectures, stomping out of the room. This is not American justice. This is the Gestapo. This is the KGB. These Democratic partisans are on an ideological mission to politicize the justice system. It's not equal justice. The justice system, I can prove, my case proves, is being run today, the Department of Justice, by political partisans who are willing to act criminally to advance their political goals and to punish anybody supporting Donald Trump.
Well, it's going to be very interesting. Let's move forward, and I'm sure, and hopefully we'll talk again. Like I said, the book comes out. Is it either today or tomorrow? It comes out and you get it on ebook?
Yeah, it's on Amazon, and the hardcover's up there now. It won't be available until March. People are buying it. It's rising in the charts. But I want an ebook. The ebook is going to be, it's done. I'm just waiting for Amazon to post it. It's going to be there today or tomorrow, I hope. And my website, CorsiNation.com. CorsiNation.com is where I've created a legal defense fund, and I'd be grateful to anyone who goes to that site and sees the ways to contribute, PayPal, GoFundMe, etc. They're all there on CorsiNation.com.
Well, appreciate you coming on today, Dr. Jerome Corsi. Silent No More, How I Became a Political Prisoner of Mueller's Witch Hunt. And we'll be watching as we go forward. Thanks so much for coming on today.
Thanks, Chad. I really appreciate it.
At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, ChadBenson. Again, these are human beings, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens along the way. I mean, he is... his contention is, I'm not going to do this, and I'm willing to go to court for it, and I'm willing to stand up for it. So you got to give him that, and we'll see how that goes. We will see if they're going to go forward with any of this, or if this is indeed, as he says, a witch hunt. At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, ChadBenson. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Running with scissors sounds great compared to this.
Say
I'm not sober. A lot of interest in Demi Lovato. Google revealing this morning that the singer was the most searched person in the U.S. on Google in 2018. Lovato almost died this year from an overdose. Second most searched person, actress, and now Duchess Meghan Markle. Roseanne was the most searched TV show. Black Panther, the most searched movie. And when it comes to the most searched overall, World Cup was first, followed by Hurricane Florence.
So good.
And rapper Mac Miller, who died of an overdose in September, in third.
So apparently you've got to have troubles if you want to get on there. The most searched. World Cup, big time. But you got Mac Miller, no longer with us. Demi Lovato, almost no longer with us. Roseanne, in trouble. So you've either got to be a big event or you got to be in trouble if you're a human being and or dead to get on that list. I get it, because that's what we do, right? We run and we Google stuff as fast as we can. Google is our brain. Google, tell me this. Google, tell me that. Google. So those right there is the most searched of 2000. That's the most searched. That's pretty. Demi Lovato, I mean, how would you feel? Because you're thinking, I wonder how many searches were out there for her. And Mac Miller, you just don't realize. It's like today, I didn't even realize Post Malone. I know who he is. We always joke about it. His name's Austin Post. Post Malone, he's a rapper. If you don't know who he is, get with it. But he sells Crocs. Yeah, those shoes, Crocs. His shoes, he released, this is the second time he's released like a custom pair of Crocs. For masses, not just a set of Crocs. He sold out in under 10 seconds. Under 10 seconds. I thought it was 10 minutes. Under 10 seconds. The power of the web, kids. The power of the web. And there's a guy that you think, well, he flirts with death on a daily basis, but nothing can kill the Post. MyPillow is amazing. You're going to love it. You want to sleep better? You want to give a great gift? This is what it's all about. MyPillow is incredible. 100% machine washable and dryable. Made right here in the USA. 10-year warranty. This is what they're doing for my listeners. They know that you've got somebody out there that has trouble sleeping. Maybe it's you. It makes an incredible gift. And right now, 4 pillows for the price of 2, free shipping. So you're going to get 4 pillows, half price, free shipping. And they've extended a money-back guarantee until March 1st, 2019. This deal is literally going to put you to sleep. 2 premium pillows, 2 go-anywhere pillows. Whenever I'm traveling, I take my go-anywhere pillow. No matter how bad the mattress is, I sleep like a baby. Get yours now. 800-983-4975 or go to MyPillow.com. Use my promo code Benson. MyPillow.com, promo code Benson, or 800-983-4975. And remember to use the promo code Benson. At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, take the poll question. Could you give up your phone for $100,000? Your smartphone for $100,000 for a year. Could you do it? Take the poll question at Chad Benson Show. It is the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Okay, the judge has just sentenced Michael Cohen to 36 months in prison, so 3 years of federal prison time for Michael Cohen. The sentencing is still going underway.
Yes, dirty deeds indeed. Michael Cohen going to jail because of the dirty deeds he did. It's very interesting as I sit here and I listen to a lot of people try to explain some of this stuff away from Michael Cohen, and it's how it's about Trump and how it's about this, that, and the other. And the reality is today had zero to do with Trump. In fact, I can make the argument quite easily that if it wasn't for Trump, he may be going to jail for a very long time. He faced up to 70 years in prison. Think about that for a second. 70 years in prison. Now, he wouldn't have got all that even if he didn't know Trump. He would probably be looking more at like 5 to 8, maybe 10 years. And he may not even do all of the time that he's looking at now because there's a year to potentially cooperate more. But Mueller found all this stuff, turned it over to these guys. They prosecuted him in New York, and away he went. Along the way, he was helping himself as best that he possibly could. But the reality is, today, it's on him. 8 counts he pled guilty. Tax evasion, lying on financial paperwork, so on and so on. It had nothing to do with Trump. Zero. Inside of the courtroom today, a little emotional.
Cohen wept at least twice during these proceedings, clearly overcome with emotions. He was pretty silent, somber as the judge read the sentence from what we're being told by our colleagues inside the courtroom.
Yeah, I'm sure he was. And he was probably relieved. I know it sounds weird, but he's probably relieved because he's going to jail for 3 years and he's not going to jail for 10 or 15. This isn't a hardened criminal. I look at Manafort, I think that guy's probably been in some tussles in his life. He's probably thrown down on more than a few occasions. He's kind of a slime ball and a sleazeball. We can all talk about that. But where you look at somebody like Cohen and you think, I don't think that this guy could, he may be somebody's girlfriend. Oh, Chad, you're being rude.
In an emotional statement to the judge, Michael Cohen apologized to his family and to the American people for lying when he said they deserve to know the truth. His voice caught. He turned toward his parents in the spectator seats to say, I'm sorry. Cohen also made clear he is no longer a loyal soldier of President Trump's, of whom he said there is little to be admired.
Yeah, well, you can talk about it all the time because he kept bringing Trump up, but this had nothing to do with Trump. Trump may be your get out of jail sooner than you should card. But today was about you, and you just kept bringing Trump up,
This was mostly about Michael Cohen, and the attorneys kept it focused on him. It was Cohen who then turned to talk about his work and what he called his blind loyalty to President Trump. He said it led him down a dark path, and he said of Trump, there is little to admire.
Fine. But he didn't make you greedy. He didn't make you take $4.5 million and not report it as income. He didn't make you lie on financial paperwork. He didn't make you do some of those things. You may have something that can help you and reduce some of these things for cooperating. And again, we don't know what you have, what everything you have, because Mueller's being tight-lipped about it, and that's the way he's supposed to be. But this was about you today. And I don't wish any ill will on this guy, right? You know, people, I don't like him. He's a horrible human being because he turned on the president. He was saving his ass. That's what he's trying to do. He was saving his butt today. He's going to go to jail. He's going to pay the price for that because he took $4.5 million, set up a shell corporation to pay off some ladies, right? That wasn't illegal. But then he continued to use it and put income in there and did not report any of that income, trying to hide it, then lied and falsified paperwork. That's on him. Absolutely.
There was no mistaking that the judge thought he was guilty of significant crime. He said that Michael Cohen had lost his moral compass Cohen might have said it was because he was blindly loyal to Donald Trump, as he put it in his statement to the judge. But the judge kept the focus solely on him and his crimes, and he said there must be a significant punishment.
Yeah. 3 years, probably won't do all that time. There you go. I mean, that's what you got out of today. Now, he's got a year or so to work, I guess, with Mueller and other people that may get him less time in the pokey.
If Cohen provides further information that could support a case against the president, that could be used in support of his reduction in sentence, even down the line. So he might not serve the full amount that is being given to him today.
He might not. You know, I mean, look, do I think he's a risk to anybody? No. Do I think he's a guy that was a hanger-on who had the opportunity to get some cash and who then overplayed his hand? But just like everybody's saying that, you know, it's all because of Trump. No, this guy made poor decisions on his own. And I can argue, weirdly enough, that without Trump being the fish, but without Trump being dangled out there, can you get this guy? What do you know about this guy? You were his fixer, that he may be going to jail for a lot longer. I don't think he'd have gone to jail for 70 years. I do think probably 5 to 10, if not a little bit more, is what he faced. And only out of desperation, and that's what the prosecutor said, and that's what the judge said, only out of desperation did you decide to cooperate on that side of things. Only out of desperation. But the good news is the holidays, you can stay home.
Michael Cohen is now expected to report to prison on March 6th, 2019, after being sentenced to 3 years plus another 3 years of supervised release.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But it's not over. It's not over. Cohen is not going anywhere just yet. While he will go to jail in March for the next several weeks and months or so until he does, he'll be cooperating. And does he have enough to maybe reduce his sentence from 3 years down to a year and a half or whatever? We'll see. We'll see what kind of information he has that is earth-shattering. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. Okay, kids. America's dirty. I know that sounds weird, but this made me laugh. So Pornhub, have you ever heard of Pornhub, Phil? You ever heard of this thing called Pornhub?
I might have heard it mentioned before.
Are you familiar with the adult stuff on the interwebs? This just made me laugh. So here's the thing. They put an end of the year review because we're at that time of the year where we're coming out with all of the end of the year list. And why not adult stuff? Because it shows you how dirty we are as a nation. And yes, globally. 2018, huge year for Pornhub. 33.5 billion. That is a B. Billion, not million, visits to Pornhub. 5 billion more than last year. That's a lot. 92 million visits a day was the average, but they're at the point now where they're getting 100 million visits a day. 30.3 billion searches altogether. Are you ready for this? 962 searches a second. Now, who tops the list traffic-wise as far as country goes? South Africa's at 20. You got Russia, Argentina, Sweden, Ukraine, Netherlands, Poland, blah, blah, blah. Goes all the way up. So here is your top. We'll start with Canada. All right? Canada. Then you got Japan. Then, get ready for this, you got India. What? United Kingdom's also dirty, but all of them pale in comparison to these here United States of America, because we're really dirty. Yeah. We do come in third, though, when it comes for the longevity on the site. We only spend about 10 minutes and 37 seconds there. Oh, my God. Some of these things are hilarious. It is not. There were almost 8 million comments on videos this year. The comments that were left the most as far as words were love, hot, like, good, and sexy. Oh, my goodness me. Those are probably, just reading those alone must be worth the price of admission if you will. 141 million video votes. That's where you give a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Fortnite was rather popular as well. Stormy Daniels. Oh, my goodness me. Just insane. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Speaking of adultish stuff, maybe you don't want people to see what's in your search history and in your data. Mm-hmm. How would you go about doing that? Simple. ExpressVPN, your virtual private network. Right now, you're being tracked online by social media sites, marketing companies, your mobile and internet provider, tracking. And that browsing history. Ooh. And guess what they do? They sell everything off to corporations who want to what? Profit from your information. That's where getting your own virtual private network helps. ExpressVPN is an easy-to-use app, runs seamlessly in the background of your computer, phone, tablet. I've got mine running. It's awesome. It's crazy. Protection. Just your protection right there. One click and away you go. It anonymizes and secures your internet browsing by encrypting your data and hiding your public IP address. It's less than $7 a month. That's what it costs to protect yourself in a way that is so amazing. Use Wi-Fi. You need this. Protect your data. Protect all of your information. Nothing is better than ExpressVPN. Number one rated by Tech Radar right there. 30-day money-back guarantee. And today, if you join with a one-year package, you get 3 months free. Go to expressvpn.com/Benson, expressvpn.com/Benson. 3 months free with a year package. expressvpn.com/Benson. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. ChadBenson. It's the Chad Benson Show.
No fake outrage here, just the real thing. The Chad Benson Show.
If it were truly the case, as the president said, that border security is better than it's ever been, what's wrong with another year of the same funding? If things are going so great, why does he have to threaten to shut down the government for his $5 billion wall? It makes no sense.
I will tell you this. I don't want the same funding. We're $22 trillion in debt. Since Trump's become president, it is rising fast. I'm sorry. I'm a pass on that. You guys liked it because you got to dip your hand into the to the till for the first time in a long time. And while Schumer's out there talking about that, and listen, today he can go out there and grandstand and make a speech. Yesterday, if we all recall, this took place.
Yes. If we don't get what we want, one way or the other, whether it's through you, through a military, through anything you want to call, I will shut down the government.
Okay,
absolutely.
fair enough.
And I am proud, and I'll tell you what, I am proud to shut down the government for border security, Chuck.
Yeah, Chuck. And the whole thing was weird to watch, and it's funny because people are weighing in on the whole body language thing, of course, because there was some interesting body language things happening in there.
It's a remarkable scene. First of all, the body language is something else. Chuck Schumer is sitting there on the couch trying to avoid looking at the president, who is sitting right next to him about 1.5 feet away. Pelosi is also kind of looking straight ahead at Schumer. And you have the silent vice president while the president is going on talking about his wonderful border wall and insisting it must be built.
Yeah, Pence was just something else. By the way, for those of you guys want to know what a Pence presidency looks like that. Sit right there. It's very quiet. It's very subtle. Does his thing. It's just very subtle. This is why when people ask, why do so many people support Trump? Why do so many people like Trump, especially in the middle of the country? Why? Yesterday, watching him, and I don't always agree with Trump, but you could tell that those two had not been talked like that in forever. They're used to being able to fire off salvos left, right, and center and not have anything come back to them. They were in a captive moment that they didn't want to be in. I'm not always a fan of stuff, but that's why Trump has the support from people on the right. That's why. People look at that and go, oh, you guys are getting what you guys deserve. Whether you like it or not, you don't have to agree, but there is something to that. There is absolutely something to why people on the right support him so. And the love for him, for the people that do love him, is just so strong.
I'm not sober. A lot of interest in Demi Lovato. Google revealing this morning that the singer was the most searched person in the U.S. on Google in 2018. Lovato almost died this year from an overdose. Second most searched person, actress, and now Duchess Meghan Markle. Roseanne was the most searched TV show. Black Panther, the most searched movie. And when it comes to the most searched overall, World Cup was first, followed by Hurricane Florence. And rapper Mac Miller, who died of an overdose in September, in third.
There you go. So we've looked at the adult stuff and now the most searched stuff. So Demi Lovato, which is probably on some of the adult stuff. Chad. Mac Miller, you got to die. You got to become a princess. Or you got to almost die. Or you got to get yourself in trouble, Roseanne. All of them had issues minus one, right? Meghan Markle, because she became a princess, that was kind of big. But everybody else had an issue. One almost died, one did die, and one lost her job. Yeah. Do you think she's laughing? Do you think Roseanne's laughing because the Connors are just... I think a little bit. Even though she probably doesn't want any of those people to lose their jobs or any of that stuff, I think somewhere down there, she's got a smile on her face. Right? Just wherever she is. I think she's in Mexico now. She's got a house down there. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. Cohen going to jail for 3 years. Not unexpected, but will he get out earlier? Is the help you're going to provide get him out of jail, say, a year early, 2 years early, or maybe by the time March rolls around, he's provided enough information to Mueller that gets him a pass altogether, and maybe they put him under house arrest? I don't know. You never know. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. How do you get your news? Pew's got a new research study out, and it's very interesting, and it's a lot of what we've been talking about here. It is the Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Michael Cohen once said he would take a bullet for Trump. Today, Cohen said working for Trump kept him in a personal and mental incarceration. Cohen said his own weakness and blind loyalty to Trump led him down a dark path, but he said he is now determined to make sure his story will not be remembered as the villain's story while working for President Trump.
He's going to jail. Today had nothing to do with Russia. It had nothing to do, even though CNN's got this big thing on, oh, look at all the associates who are going to jail or have been convicted of stuff when it comes to Russia and the links, and the Michael Cohen's up there. Like, this has nothing to do with that. He's going to jail because he evaded taxes. He put $4.4 million in an offshore account and didn't report it, and then he lied on financial papers. That's why he's going to jail. That's why. The light was shined upon him because of Trump, because of his association with Trump. That's why the light was shined upon him. But if you take Trump away from this and he got caught doing these things, he'd probably be going to jail for a hell of a lot longer. A hell of a lot longer than what he's going to jail for now. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. 100%. He's not going to jail for 70 years. He got 3 years. He got 3 years, doesn't have to go to jail till March, and he's still And when I hear that he's still cooperating with Mueller, and there's a possibility that he could get time shaved off for that, I have no problem with that. If you've got something and it's real, it is what it is. Let's find out the truth and put this thing let's put Trump behind us or put this mess behind us that is going on. But in saying that, when I hear that, and we talked to Jerome Corsi as well, you can check out the podcast, grab it, great. When I hear all of those things, it makes me think this investigation's got a long way to go. But today, Cohen's going to jail for something he did that the light was shined upon him because of his association with Trump. But the judge pointed out, this wasn't about Trump. This is about you. It's about your greed. It was a smorgasbord of stuff that you did.
He appears to be ignoring shouted questions from reporters as he gets into a waiting car to drive off. He must report to prison in March of next year. I can see his wife in the front seat of the car. There appeared to be tears running down her face. She was evidently emotional.
Yeah, as she should be. And again, we don't know what's going to take place moving forward, but the reality is today you could talk about Trump. You could talk about how he did all of these things and how he mesmerized you and sucked you into this world of you enjoyed it. You enjoyed it, right? When you got paid, you liked it. When the checks cleared, you liked it. You like flying around in the private jets. You like feeling like a hitter. You like all of those things. You did. And dare I say, if we shine the light on everybody's associate in D.C., past and present, I bet we'd find a lot of stuff that makes us go, and gives us all the heebie-jeebies. Oh, I bet you we would. 110%. You know we would. You know we would. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. Starts with California and just floating the idea. But once one state does it, don't you think all states are going to probably think about, could we?
Every time you hit send, that text message could be taxed. California's Public Utilities Commission is set to vote next month on a proposal to tax text messages. State regulators say the money would be used to support programs to provide phone service to the poor. It's unclear how much users would have to pay for every text message they send. The wireless industry is fighting the plan.
Yeah. And the wireless industry is fighting a plan for a lot of reasons. One, we only communicate anymore with text message. How many of you make phone calls anymore, unless it's absolutely emergency? And how many of you ignore phone calls? Hand in the air. Like, if you're calling me, you don't know me. Right? Because now, how do we get phone calls? Hey, call me. It's an emergency. Not call you and then hope you answer. No, you text somebody that says, call me, and it's emergency. But when a state does this, I tell you guys, every state looks around and goes, could we do that? Is that something we can do? Is that could that be something we did? Maybe we could do that too. And I was asking producer Phil, I said, I wonder how that works. So if I show up in California, right? So let's say I live in Texas, but I go to California. I live in Arizona right now. I go to California. And I do that. Or anywhere. Anybody lives anywhere and they go to California. If you send a text message to California, are you charged for that? If I send a text message to somebody in California, am I charged for that? Because everybody's looking for a way to get money. Chris in Roseville says, I've removed all electrical outlets outside my office because the homeless need to charge their free phones and they make a mess while they wait. Given to them by California. Now I have to pay extra electricity and now a tax on text messages. Where's common sense gone? It's gone. But when I see this, my thought process is you are going to try it in one place and other states will get the idea. And the carriers are pissed because they know that people will just get WhatsApp. People will use their other messaging service like Facebook Messenger, and they won't be charged, and they'll just go off a platform somewhat completely, and that is going to drive them crazy. And that's not fair. It's ridiculous, man. They're just always looking for another way to get money. You know, we saw a guy today who was sentenced for 3 years in prison for his greed, right? You can call it greed by association, but it was his greed. And we can all be a little bit greedy. All of us try to figure out a way. Hey, you know what? I drive 15 miles to work, not 3. We come on. Let's not pretend. But in saying that, is there anything more greedy than the government that wants yo's? No. They're always looking for extra. 323-538-2423 is the text line. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. I don't charge you for a text, right? I don't charge you for a text. God, I do remember that. Producer Phil said, remember when you used to get charged for text messages? I'm like, oh, yeah. Crazy, right? Crazy. We used to get charged for text messages and how long you're on the phone. It's like, dude, I'm eating my minutes up. I can't talk to you. Nowadays, because of competition, that's not happening anywhere. But it is insane that we used to live that way. Now they're in California. It's like, I got a great idea. Why don't we still live like that? Ugh. So social media is outpacing print newspaper. Not a shock. Not a shock at all. It's outpacing that. It's still behind radio. It's still behind news websites. And it's still behind television as far as how people are getting their news information. But television at one time was 57%. It's now under 50%. News websites have gone from 28% in 2016 to 33%. Radio stayed the same, 25, 26. But social media has jumped print because print's dying. Who reads print? I don't, you know, as far as like, I don't even get a newspaper. Like I can't even remember the last time I read a newspaper. That's how long it's been. I cannot even remember the last time I read a newspaper. Right? And I'll go to hotels and they've always got like a free USA Today or something like that. Why would I want that? It's like, what am I going to do with that? What am I going to do with this again? Does this have something magical on it does it tell tomorrow's news? Because if it doesn't tell tomorrow's news, then I'll just stick with today at this moment. Because the minute it's printed, that news is old. The minute it's printed, something else has happened. The minute. So you keep it. But the other thing they talk about is where we're going. Where we're going. And that is, we have stopped looking at a bunch of different things as far as news goes, and now we're just going to where? Places that affirm not information, but affirmation. And it also tells a story of what's happening in the world that we live in as far as the age. The demographics are changing tremendously. Social media is here. Social media news is here. If you're older, you still may look at the television a little bit more. You still may get the newspaper. But 18 to 29, 2%, according to Pew, get it from print. Radio's 13%. News websites 27. TV's 36. So, I mean, TV's 16. TV's down lower than a lot of it because nobody watches TV for that. Right? Kids who watch television aren't watching television, they're watching YouTube, and they're watching Netflix or Hulu or whatever. They're not there for the news. No, not at all. My generation, the Gen Xers, we get it from 36% from TV news, 42% from websites, 29% from radio. But that's what we're doing, right? And again, print. Print is dead. It is a dying business. I couldn't even imagine, like today, going, hey, I got a great idea. Print. It's going to be great. We're revolutionizing the world. It's not going to happen. It is a dead business. But younger Americans are better than older Americans at telling factual news. That's interesting. But we're still going where? We're still going to places that we're looking for affirmation. Essentially, we're going to the echo chamber we feel most comfortable in, wherever that may be. Wherever it is. And it also says that liberal Democrats are more likely than other groups to be what? Politically active on social media. That's why when they come after somebody, they do a much better job of trying to get rid of advertisers or whatever it is that they're trying to do, because they're better at it. Because the echo chamber they're in is more active and more likely to take action on something. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Twitter, tweet at us. MyPillow, amazing. Yes, indeed. Somebody tweeted at me last night, Chad, what's your MyPillow code? I said, just go to MyPillow.com, use code Benson. And he goes, it's still for that deal. I said, yes, you're going to get 4 premium pillows Right? I mean, four pillows, 2 premium pillows, 2 Go Anywhere pillows. So that's a total of 4, half the price. They're going to throw in free shipping. Plus, until March 1st, 2019, you've got a money-back guarantee. That's putting your money where your mouth is, or your head is, if you will. It's incredible. 100% machine washable and dryable, made in the USA. And I will tell you this right now. I sleep so well when I have my MyPillow. And I love the Go Anywhere pillows because I do travel so much. And it's nice to know that, the mattress may not be so good when you're in a hotel, but the MyPillow, it works, and out I go. It's a great way to get a great Christmas gift. Maybe get to 2 people, maybe keep a couple for yourself, give a couple away. But get it now. 4 pillows, 2 premium pillows, 2 Go Anywhere pillows, half the price, free shipping, money back guarantee until March 1st, 2019. Go to mypillow.com, use promo code Benson, or call 800-983-4975, promo code Benson, or mypillow.com, promo code Benson. Got your useless fact of the day straight ahead. Chad Benson Show.
Feel free to punk this punk rocker any time of the day or night. Reach Chad on Twitter at Chad Benson Show and on Instagram at Chad Benson Show. And oh yeah, the Chad Benson Show on Facebook too. Punk that.
Michael Cohen may not feel great today, but it appears he's dodging a bullet. If you added up all of the potential prison time on the charges against him, you're up around 70 years. And so by cutting a deal, certainly this has to be a great day for him in that sense.
Yeah. Got 3 years, not 70 years. Probably wasn't going to get 70, even if he didn't have anything to do with Trump. And he's got up to a year to continue to cooperate with Mueller, and who knows where that may go. He's not going to report to prison until March of next year, so he's got about 3 months to get his affairs in order, and who knows what will happen between now and then. We don't know. We don't know. So does he have the get-out-of-jail-free card, or at least shave off some of that sentence, which could potentially happen? But the judge again today made sure that everybody know your association with Trump and all of those other things didn't bring you to this courtroom. It was you and your greed and how you went off path, and that is what you pled guilty to. The Trump stuff is separate. Mueller handed it over to this district attorney, to these people, to these prosecutors when he uncovered stuff. The spotlight shined on you, and you were dirty. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. We talk about this all the time. I'll ask producer Phil this simple question. Producer Phil, you leave your wallet at home or your phone at home. Which one would you go back for?
My phone.
There you go. Well, Vitamin Water is offering somebody in 2019 $100,000 if you can go a year without a smartphone. It means you can't operate one, right? You can't caress, hug, or otherwise physically affectionate with anyone else's smartphone, right? Now, here's the thing. So if you want to enter this, you go to Twitter or Instagram, explain how you could go a year without it. If you took a break, what your year would look like. Contestants are going to include things like hashtags, no phone for a year, hashtag contest to be considered. So if you're chosen, so let's say they come and they say, all right, here's the deal. You're chosen. And this to me makes it easier than anything. If you're chosen and contest period ends as far as when you can enter January 8th at 11:59 Eastern. But if they choose you, there's going to be 4 entries per person. They're going to announce it on the 22nd. They're going to give you a Nokia 3310 non-smartphone with a monthly plan to make calls and text. All I need to do is text, right? Tablets are also prohibited during the challenge. Laptop and desktops are okay to use. Totally fine with me. After a year, so you've got to take a lie detector test, and then you get $100,000. If you only make it 6 months, you get 10 G's. That's so, I could do that. I could easily do that. If I could just still text, I could do that. Right? Because I've come, and see, this is where it would be tougher for somebody who's only ever known smartphones. We, being the Gen Xers and above, we've understood what it's like to be without a phone because we didn't get our phones until our early 20s, mid-20s. So this would be simple. Money in the bank. You count it. Make the check payable to me. But I know a lot of other people couldn't. I do. But I could, there's no doubt I could do this. No doubt in my mind I could do this. Absolutely. 100%. Could you do it, though, people? Could you? Could you go a year without a smartphone? But you could still use your computer. But see, when you say that to kids, they don't have computers. They have tablets. They have their smartphones. I use a computer. I have a laptop. I could live off that. No problemo. Might free my life up for other things. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. All right, kids. As we head towards Christmas, we're going to give you a bunch of Christmas facts or useless facts of the day. Here's something you didn't know. Marvel Holiday Spectacular 2009 featured Santa Claus as one of the most powerful mutants of all. That's right. St. Nicholas himself wielded the Infinity Gauntlet. He went bad and rogue, and they had to stop him. But he was a badass. At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, ChadBenson. Have a good rest of your day. Got you with the hump. Night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.